it was a one-time thing. Sure, you get. I was just 16 plus. I was 17 in November. I had any in December. So I was actually pregnant while I was just 16 plus.
And you were already in second year by this time?
Yes, I was in university. I got to university at 14.
Wow.
So the moment I discovered, I just knew I should probably go get a coffin.
I was angry. I was angry with myself. I was angry I was pregnant. I was angry that I didn't even have any money. Any money that was sent to the house was given to my aunt. So if I wanted to even have, I didn't even have my personal money. I didn't need money for anything. It was not a good time. There was nothing I needed money for that was not bought from. They won't give me the money cash.
Why were they scared that you were going to take it to go to
run away or do something or just probably dump the child somewhere or kill myself? I was almost suicidal at the time.
Today's topic is single parent. That is more focused on being a single mother in Nigeria. What is the relationship dynamic for single mothers in Nigeria? How do they deal with certain stereotypes and shame that is associated with that label in our country? Thank you guys so much for joining me on today's episode. Thank you guys so much. We're just going to jump right into it. I just want to start with discussing some of the challenges that you face as a single mother in Nigeria.
For me, it's actually not very, very fun being a single mom in Nigeria. It's not fun at all. And the challenges are so many. Like, where do I even begin from? Like, where do I start from? Is it I've had a lot of stuff happen all over the years. For instance, money is always an issue. When you're raising kids alone, money is never enough. Especially when the other parent is not financially responsible for the kids. I have 2 kids, I have 2 teenagers. I mean, I've been fending for them for as long as I can remember. So one of the challenges of being a single parent in Nigeria, a single mom in Nigeria, is money is always an issue. They have to deal with labels of the society. For instance, in my church, as an example, in my church, I can't go to singles fellowship because what they're saying is not really. I don't vibe with them. You're talking about how to date brother so and so, how to, and I'm thinking of school fees. I'm thinking of house rent. I'm thinking of, and so when I sit with them, I'm like, okay, so what's going on? I really don't connect with them in singles fellowship. I can't join the married people's fellowship. I'm not married. In my church, they tell you don't have a wedding certificate, don't join the married people. And so it then begins to dawn on you that it's like the dilemma of a ghost. You're neither here nor there. When yes, sometimes in church, my church is a place where everybody looks very paying and all that. It's a youth church. So when a young wife sees you with her husband and she's newly married, you're a single mom, everybody knows you're a single mom, they come running. The wives come running when they see you chatting with their husbands.
Why?
I don't know, maybe because they feel, okay, you need a husband, they are desperate for a relationship, and so they always come running.
Well, like she said, money is the vital issue being a single parent in Nigeria, whether you're a man, a single parent, or you're a single mother or a single father, especially when the other parent is AWOL. I have 2 kids, 2 teenagers, and I've been fending for them. My son is 17, my daughter is 14, and I've been fending for them since they were born, right straight from the hospital till now they're in secondary school. So it's always, when you think of, look at this beautiful dress, it will look nice on you, and you're like, this needs capricino, this pencil, this razor. You're facing the challenges of providing for your kid first before thinking about yourself. And our laws are not even helping matters in Nigeria. We don't have that effective welfare system that works instantly in Nigeria. Because I believe that when 2 adults, whether or not we want to take it or not, when there is pregnancy in the issue, the child was not asked to be born.
Yes.
You have to meet up to your responsibility to that human being the child.
That might be one of the biggest problems that we have, because there's no law that is actually enforcing that the man actually provides financial
support. Lagos State is actually trying. The welfare office in Lagos State are trying. They are really, really trying. I've seen cases. I've been there for my daughter's father. I went to the welfare. Unfortunately, there was little we could do. There was no address.
There was no
why. The last place he was living, I went there. He was no longer there. So, and nigga blocked me off on social media.
What?
So it's about the mindset of our people. I tell my son, I say, if you come of the age whereby you feel you need to have a child, look at the bank account you open for your child and see at least $1 million inside. Go ahead and have a child, and the mother will back you. You don't need to marry. But you don't want to put your child through what we have been through.
Now that the fathers don't provide, because I'm going to talk to you later, when the fathers don't provide financial support, are they still giving access to the kids? Can he just call and say, today I want to see my son, I'm missing him, I want to see my daughter? Do you still give him access to the kids even when he doesn't provide any financial support?
He's not the person that will call you that you give access.
Okay.
For me, I do.
I don't even have access. I used to have their numbers, but at the time I was like, why should I keep flogging a dead horse?
Wow.
You know you have a child.
Yeah.
Even before the child was born, you know a child is coming. It is, if you were a sound human being, what you would do for the sake of humanity is bring forth yourself. Nobody's going to kill you because you impregnated somebody's daughter. When I was pregnant, my father brought out his gun, brought out his cutlass. He did not kill me, nothing. Yeah, I'm still here standing. He can still boast and call my son in school. Hey, Box, how far? How are you? They are good bodies. It is the anger of that I let him down. I put the cat before the horse.
Out of
The
wedlock.
cat before the horse. You know, it was not what he planned for my life. But down the line, if the man doesn't want to come, I feel that I've done what needs to be done. I searched for his father on Facebook, searched for his brother, searched for his two sisters. I found all of them. I sent them messages. None of them replied. The ones that blocked me. I'm not well and good. I have evidences to prove that. See, okay, I'm not going to be. I won't pause my life looking for your father.
Yeah.
I will not pause my life looking for my father. Looking for your father. You've spoken to him on the phone. My son hasn't seen his father in 17 years. So it's not even a question of. It's something I tell people. So it's not even a question of I blocked him from seeing his child. Block, okay. I will give you the child. Please, I need a life. Take the child, bring him weekend. Let us even share.
Wathoni, you also said that you're not in contact with the father of your child. Can you tell us what happened?
First of all, how the whole pregnancy came about, story for another day.
You sure did not feel pregnant.
He didn't believe it was his. And it's understandable.
Yeah, in quote.
So the plan was you do a DNA and be sure it's his, but he didn't do it. So I couldn't force him.
You said that even if the father of your child does not provide financial support, you still give him access to the child.
I do actually. I do. I do. You know, I talked and I became assistant demon.
Okay.
I became assistant Lucifer. You know, I complained, I talked, I reported to everybody. We live in the same town.
Okay.
We live in the same town. We live just a few streets away from each other.
Wow.
And I don't think she has set eyes on him in months. So, you know, my daughter, my kids are taller than I am.
Okay.
And so she looks very fine and she's 16 this year. My son is going to be 14 this year. And all we do now is he picks up his phone as a sweet child of God, calls me and say, hey, can I see them? We want to hang out. Because I've been on this issue for years. And he keeps saying, you know, I don't have money. I'm exhausted. There's no need going back and forth. And so I told him to his face, oh, you don't have. In Jesus' name, you won't have. What you then need to have to take care of this child that you don't have, I would have and take care of this kid. Since you are not responsible, you don't have any other type of sense, no problem. Anytime you want access, because you can't then say, I prevented you from having access. No. So anytime you want to, so when he wants to hang out now, he wants to pose and say, oh, I have a teenager. Do you need transport fare? Go
and see. I just want to ask, and not to pry, you have two children. Are the two kids from the same father?
No.
Okay, what about the second father?
We were in a relationship, and I really thought it was going to end well. But before we could finalize, actually, when he's passed on, and so at the time that happened, I really didn't know I was pregnant.
Oh.
So I had to, you know, you have to just go on. Yeah.
Okay, let's move from the issue of, you know, providing access to the father and talk about the dating world when it comes to being a single mother, because I can't even imagine how difficult that is. How is it in the dating world when people realize that, okay, this woman is not coming alone, she has 2 other people, or she has a son or a daughter behind her? How you can start with
at first, I was dating a guy that didn't have kids.
Okay.
And then it didn't go well. I'm not sure it was because I have a son. I'm not too sure. But that's what I thought.
Okay.
So after that, the next person I met, I would introduce my name and say I'm a single mom. Like at once. So if you're leaving, leave. If you're not. And then I noticed it wasn't still working. Like if I say, hi, I'm Wathoni, I'm a single mom, it ends there. I don't hear from the person again, and that's it. So these days, I always look out for those that are either single dads or divorced or As far as you have a child, then I'm comfortable.
I was even just going to ask, like, is it easier to date a single father, or is it easier to date a man with
Most
no
times,
child?
yes.
A single father.
Yeah.
Why?
For me, I've been in relationships that I really thought were going somewhere. I had a guy that this was just a few years ago. I had a guy that, you know, there's sometimes as a woman you know that the guy loves you, and he knows that you know he loves you. But I sensed it wasn't. Maybe call it a woman's intuition. I knew it wasn't going anywhere. And it really did. Uncle put me on voicemail. It was his wedding pictures I saw. It was his wedding pictures I saw later that we still saw in April. We're fine, we're cool. And I just drew back because I knew that because I was a single mom, it wasn't going anywhere. So it was his wedding pictures I saw. And we are still friends now.
Wow. Okay, but I want to ask something, because this is an interesting dynamic. If you prefer single fathers, right? Are these single fathers with their children? Because someone like the fathers of your kids can come out and say, I'm a single father. But you still, exactly, sure. How does that work when you're searching for someone to date and you prefer a single dad? Do you prefer that he's a single father that is hands-on with the kids, that has access to the kids, or just the fact that he has a child somewhere, it makes it easier for you guys to rapport?
It's personal.
The kids.
It's personal. For me, I prefer
for me personally,
hands-on.
I'm indifferent with his status. Few relationships that I've dabbled into are usually single guys with a mixture of single dads. You know, I don't introduce my kids to my
To people
partner.
you date.
Yeah, like people I date. Especially when they were very much younger. You don't come near my street, you don't come near my house, we meet wherever we are meeting, we do our shenanigans and we go home.
There's the idea that after you've given birth, the interaction with your body changes, the perception you have of yourself image changes, and even worse when you don't have a partner with you at the moment. Is that something that you believe you experience, like your sexuality, even during sexual intercourse, with your certain vulnerabilities that you are afraid to show, things like that? I just want to hear from you.
Okay, when I had my first child, I wasn't thinking about any sexuality, anything. I was just 19. I was just looking at how do I move my life forward with this horrible big stretch mark I have on my stomach. But when I had my daughter, I had this insecure part of me, when I go out with somebody, we want to get down on the sex level, I'm always putting off the lights, my stretch marks, my boobs, and I'm like, at some time I was like, no, I don't have to do this. I started reading Ann Summers. I read Ann Summers, I met a friend, Jenny Berry. She introduced me to sex toys, and I started selling them. And one day I asked myself, are you not going to use this thing on yourself? So you will know how far. I bought myself a vibrator, and that was when, girl,
Amen.
that was when all hell was let loose. I told myself, this is the standard.
Yeah.
Any man coming, if you cannot meet up to this standard, I don't care. You use the door. Let's leave love first. My father loves me. I don't think my father hates me anytime soon. That love is enough. Jesus Christ loves me. But you see, sexually, we must be compatible. My orgasm must be complete. I get it from you by force, or I give it to me by myself by force. If you cannot meet up, I will use the vibrator to support you. If you feel ashamed that it makes you less of a man, go to the gym. Your mates are there. So for me, it's about owning that power you have. Hold it. Take the ropes in your hand and enjoy your life. It doesn't have to do whether you're married. Married people are even horrible in their relationship when it comes to sex. So that does not guarantee that because you're not married does not mean that we're having the best sex. No, it is when you know who you are.
I first had a child. I was just 17.
Okay.
I was in my second or third year in the university. I was young, so there was no question of exploring your sexuality. My dad retired as a principal. Same with my stepmom. So imagine the kind of home I come from. It wasn't a fun time. I mean, everybody thought I was going to go. I was doing well in school. So for your daughter in 200 level to come home and say, okay, I'm pregnant, it isn't a good situation. So for me, it was more about keeping my head above water and raising my child. It was for me more than just that. It wasn't a time to explore any sexual. I began to really explore that when I grew older. So I discovered what works for me and what didn't. But at the time I just had my kid, there was no question of that.
Yeah, for me, before I had my son, it was more of intense makeouts. So kiss for long hours, give head, receive head, what else? Basically makeouts. Then after I gave birth, it was more of sex. If we are doing anything together, go straight to the point. Don't kiss me, don't give me head, don't do anything. I'm not interested in all that.
Why?
Because I don't know, something felt off. Like going there, a boy just came out from there. So I wasn't comfortable. And I don't know if it was that I won't say I was insecure about my body, but I felt like he was wrong and off. And that made me break up with someone. Because he was like, why can't I give you head? Why can't you give me? So yeah, it was more of make out before my son, then more of just go straight to the point after my son.
And I recognize that many of you here, had your child at a very young age. And that's something we need to discuss because there's a high teenage pregnancy level in our country that we don't even talk about. So what was it like? Yeah, you were older. What was it like being a teenager and getting pregnant? Because now in our society, we might have been a bit woke that we're saying, teenagers, even if they're pregnant, they should still have their life. But back then, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, things were not like that. What was your experience as a teenager getting pregnant?
It was crazy. Like, it was super crazy, I wasn't, the only day I saw my dad was when he asked me who was responsible and all that. Before I could even say, it's Uncle Lagbaja that did it. One thing. My mother had packed my clothes inside one bag and shipped me to Ajangbati, her brother's house. So I was there. My dad, I didn't see my dad for like almost a year. I didn't see my sisters more than a year. Wow. I didn't see them until after I gave birth. And 7 months after I gave birth, my dad now called his brother-in-law and said, okay, let her come home. I knew I was pregnant. And it wasn't my first pregnancy actually.
Okay, had you gone there?
I was on my way to do the DRC.
Oh, wow. Okay, why didn't you do it even after they found out that you were pregnant?
That's how they bundled me to my uncle's house. As they bundled me there and they started monitoring my pregnancy. My uncle, his wife, my cousins, they were monitoring it. I was angry. I was angry with myself. I was angry I was pregnant. I was angry that I didn't even have any money. Any money that was sent to the house was given to my aunt. So if I wanted to even have, I didn't even have my personal money. I didn't need money for anything. It wasn't a good time. There was nothing I needed money for that was not bought from. They won't give me the money cash.
Why were they scared that you were going to take it to go to
run away or do something or just probably dump the child somewhere or kill myself? I was almost suicidal at the time.
The irony of it is, it was a one-time thing. Sure, you get. I was just 16 plus. I was 17 in November. I had any in December. So I was actually pregnant while I was just 16 plus.
And you were already in second year by this time?
Yes, I was in university. I got to university at 14.
Wow.
So the moment I discovered, I just knew I should probably go get a coffin. Because there's no way I'm going home with this. There's no way I can go to my father was a principal then. My stepmom was my English teacher. They're both educationists. When I learned I was pregnant, it was the end of second semester in university. So I had a friend whose dad was my dad's friend.
Okay.
So we could hang out. So I went to their house and we were both young. She was my age mate. So I told her, Remy, there's one very bad thing that's going on right now. I'm pregnant. Please, I know we are young. This was just the first time, and nobody will believe me. But you know, your elder sister, she's more worldly. She understands. Please let me tell her, what can I use? And so while we were doing all that, they were looking for me at home. And so, to cut the very long story short, ironically, I didn't know Remy was also pregnant at that time.
Oh wow!
She was also pregnant. So when I went home, she didn't tell me. I told her, babe, this is the, and I gave her the gist. This is what happened. I can't even go back to the guy because it was only a one-time thing. So how do I go and tell a guy who it was only once that I'm pregnant? I'm too young to do this. Let's find a solution. So we're on that when her father realized they were looking for me at home. So he bundled me home. So when the thing now came to light that I was pregnant, and it also came to light at the same time that my friend was pregnant, that's Remy. So had I told my dad bluntly, remove that rubbish. She's just 16 plus. What's the big deal? I would go and do, and he did that actually for her. But my father said no. If she's old enough to have sex, she's old enough to have a child.
Wow.
And they told me, you know what? This is the end of second semester, 200 level, no problem. Please don't think you're stopping your education. It's not happening here. You and that big belly if you're ashamed, it's not a problem. You're going back to school. And I did. I went back for my 300 level, and it was I was the youngest in my department. I was the youngest in my class. I was the youngest in the entire school. And so that kind of news spread like wildfire. I had classmates that all they wanted to see was, is it true? Like, seriously, we didn't know you were having sex. So now talk of you, this small rat. We didn't know you were having sex to the point of you being pregnant. But a few people were supportive. And I actually gave birth to my daughter the last day I was supposed to have my last exam for first semester. And the thing that struck me was, I knew I was already in a lot of trouble. And so there was no point not to study for my exams. And I don't know how. I think it was just something I pushed out from within. That semester, I had the best results throughout school. Because I was like, okay, there's nowhere to go but up.
That's true. What advice would you give to a young girl, 16, 17, who just found out that she's pregnant and she knows that there's no way she's getting a D&C and this is something she has to live with? What advice would you give her from your own experience that you think that she would benefit? What's her name?
For me, I'd tell her that as against what she might be told, her life is not exactly over. Because we might be woke and all that. There's still an ever-present stigma attached to. Go online and see how single moms are trolled.
Very true.
And so, number one, I'll tell her, please get ready for the craziest ride of your life. Don't think it will be a walk in the park. It will not. You're going to be bullied. They're going to talk to you. They're going to see you as desperate and a hoe. They're going to call you a hoe. They're going to say all manner of things. So number one, prepare yourself mentally and emotionally to take all sorts of things. Also prepare yourself to work it out. The finances might not always be there. You might not always have a support system. If she has a support system, you're almost good to go. But I'm going to tell her, as against what she might hear, your life is not over. But please, there's cause and action. There's action and consequences. You are going to reap the consequences of what you've done in folds. You're going to. There's harvest coming. Get ready for it. Harvest of tears. Harvest of loneliness. Times when you know you're entirely alone, there's no support system, and there's no guy coming around, maybe because you have kids. So I'll tell her, it's not as much as I'm a realist. As much as I will outline the difficulties ahead, and I won't minimize them, I'll tell them, don't cry. Your cry is forward. You're still going to cry. There's time enough to do all that. So this is not the time. Just put yourself together, have your kid, but know for sure that it's not necessary that your life is over. It's not. But you need to work extra hard. The single girl will need to work, but you as a single one will need to work extra hard to get the recognition you deserve, to get the respect you deserve. So,
thank you.
Okay, I would advise a single mom to, first of all, silence the noise. Don't care about what people would say. And then there's this, I think for me, being a single mom, being a mom has been more good for me because it has taught me to be industrious. If I wasn't a single mom, I think I would be very lazy, and I would tell the person my situation and how I'll just talk about the positives. You don't find it's challenging. We all know it's tough, it's hard, it's not easy. But silence the noise. Don't care about what anybody's saying. I didn't care about anything. Just live your life and try and work hard for your child. That's all. You owe your child so much, so do everything for your child.
If you were to be my daughter and she's pregnant at 16 and I find out in the first month, I'm going to remove that pregnancy.
What if your daughter says, because we also have to think about the
she does not have anything to say.
We have to think about the autonomy of the
And
daughter.
16, she does not have any choice. At 16, once she's 18 plus, and she says she wants to, please, auntie, can you pack your bag and leave?
Wow.
What if she finds out at 5 months? I found out mine at 5 months.
You're not collecting money from Pampers from when we were growing up. My dad had us 6 girls.
Why your only
My dad had us 6 girls. My father made it a duty for each and every one of us to come and collect your Pampers, your sanitary pads. My dad is my dad. 6 girls.
There are some situations that there's really nothing you can do to the pregnancy.
Yeah.
So
This is science. This is
How do you
science.
move forward?
This is science. There is always a situation. We are not binding and casting witches. This is a situation that a penis entered the vagina and he ejaculated sperm into her uterus. There is always a solution. Except I will take her to the best hospitals. Come on, I will take her to the best
Would you
hospitals.
risk our safety to do
There
that?
is not, if you go to first consultants, you will do a clean evacuation. There is no, you will see their life. It's when you go to Quacks. It is when you go to Abeokuta or you go to Nnewi, where the doctor does not have any license. When you go to, have you not seen situations where doctors have told the woman you can't have this child? You have to remove it. What if my daughter has a medical condition that cannot help her carry that pregnancy? Would I not let her carry the pregnancy and it will affect her when she has a child?
Are you saying
Yes, because it's really interesting. It's a good conversation to have where would a mother let her child keep her pregnancy if she knows that she's still below the age of 18?
If she's below the age of, I can't let her. If she's 23 and 22,
I don't even want to imagine it.
I don't want to imagine it, but that is why I keep on telling my daughter that
I
you
really
see,
don't know what I
you
would
don't
do.
want to put yourself,
Nah.
all your friends will run and leave you.
Nah.
I told
Don't you think that when you send that message, sometimes it seems like a double standard where the girl begins to feel like if she does get pregnant, then that's the end of her life because that's the message that she's getting.
I'm telling her that when you get pregnant, you're responsible. My 1 naira, my pension money, I will not give you. I'm not my own father.
Yeah.
I'm not my dad. That is all caring, all nice, to accommodate two of you. I will throw you out.
Yeah.
I will throw you out. Not literally throw you out, but I will show you the tough because I'm trying to tell you that these things can wait. Let it wait. Be patient for 5 years. That 5 years, you can get your degree, you can travel the world, you can meet a good man that would love you and want to marry you in 5 years from university. People go to your service, you marry. What is remaining again?
But you
What
know some
if-
kids now are challenging. Your daughter will tell you, but you had your.
Yeah,
that's hypocrite.
no, it's very
Don't
easy.
be a hypocrite.
Yeah, I had you when I was
said
young.
so, so
I had you when I was young. Where is your father, the so-called sperm donor? Are you not ashamed to even ask me that question? That you don't even have a. See, my children know me that if you bring one, I will bring 100. It's your grandfather that is supposed to be paying your school fees. Go and see your father's house.
I want to ask though, because we've been so focused on the girls, what if your son is responsible for the pregnancy? What would you do? Would your approach be completely different? Because I
It will
know
not be different, it will be the same.
so you would force the daughter of someone else to go for a DNC.
When we do a family meeting, we cannot decide. If her parents want her to do a DNC, it's their business.
What if the family
Of the girl, because now we're talking about boys, because I don't want this to always be a double standard.
Yeah.
If the daughter, that is the daughter of if the family of the daughter, say that our daughter is going to keep this child, and there's nothing your son can do about it, he has to
I
be.
would support them.
What would you do?
They should go ahead.
Support them.
The child belongs to them. The highest I will tell my son is, see, okay, there's a child on the way. If you are earning 20,000, share it into 3. Open an account. 1/3 of it belongs to that child. Know where you're visiting, know where you guys can have visiting rights. Know where you can go and see your child. You cannot force somebody else's child to do a DNC because she's pregnant for you, except she wants to do it.
I can't picture it because that's not what I would want. But life happens. If
Yeah.
it does happen, I would. Number one, if the parent, like most parents of girls do, they want them to have a wedding immediately. I'll tell them that is not happening.
It's not happening.
Forget it.
They
It's
should
not
not
happening.
talk about it.
They're too young to decide that they want to get married. I'd rather have them grow old enough to decide that they want to marry each other. But this wedding, if you think that's a criteria for access to your child, go and eat the child. But if you want me to take, I would actually prefer that the girl comes to me so that I can give her the kind of care I did not have. Care for the child. But I'll tell uncle, I don't care if you have a job or not. Even if you're in university and I'm still sending you money, please know that you are now you are responsible. If I was sending you 50,000 every month, I'll send you like, because I'm mean, I'll send you probably like 15 or 20. The rest goes to the child. And if the months I don't have to send you, I will still collect from you.
Of course.
Because the child was cared for. But I'll make sure they also have a bond. That seems to be a problem single parents have. The other partner does not actually bond with the child. I really would not want that. So I would want them to bond, for him to be financially responsible, for him to also parent the child himself as a whole.
It's not even about dropping money now.
No. It's not just about that.
It's not about dropping money. You have to be there.
You have to be there.
Vaccination,
take the child for immunization.
Sports day, PTA, you will go
take
for
hangouts.
Hangout. You will, weekends is 2 of you.
Thank you guys so much for coming to talk about this issue. There's so much that we can talk about because we didn't even just really scratch the surface. But thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation as well. You can obviously send your messages and drop your comments. And if you're a single mother or a single father, I want to hear your experiences concerning parenting, dating and relationship, and even having to deal with the stigma and stereotypes and this label in our country, Nigeria. Thank you guys so much once again for coming, and I really appreciate your opinions and views on this conversation. Thank you.